Welcome into The First Word, and while it's a program titled The First Word presented by Dr. Pepper, there are very few words to describe what just happened at AT&T Stadium as the Dallas Cowboys, who were down 20-0 at the end of the first quarter, complete the comeback with a game-winning 42-yard field goal off the leg of Greg Zuerlein to win it 40-39. And we're going to break it all down for you right now here on DallasCowboys.com. So glad you're with us. I'm Kyle Yeomans, joined by a trio of former Dallas Cowboys, Barry Church, Nate Newton, and Isaiah Stanback. And guys, there's, like I said, very few words that can describe the resiliency and the comeback that the Dallas Cowboys just showed, but they're back to 500. They get a crucial win against an NFC opponent that is quite the team. But guys, first off, what are your thoughts about the 40-39 win, Barry?
Where do we start, fellas? This was an amazing game to watch from the start to finish. The Cowboys, they were down 20 points at one time in this game. And the second half, they showed it was like night and day. It was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It was amazing to me just to see the resilience of this team in the second half. Hats goes off to that offensive line because I was giving them heck in the pregame. And then the first half, they proved me right. But the second half, they came out here. They played like their hair was on fire. They gave Dak enough time to find his receivers. So, it's a lot to talk about right now, but that was a heck of a win by the Dallas Cowboys.
Are you kidding me? I really don't know what else to really say aside from "Are you kidding me?" These boys somehow, some way, found their way back into this game after this awful start to the game, right? These guys had turnovers, 4 turnovers, I think, in the first, 10 minutes or something like that. It was all around bad. Kudos to the defense, right, for sticking in there. The defense kept getting put in terrible situations, and they kept fighting, right? Yes, Atlanta was scoring points, but these guys just kept fighting, and somehow they found a way to win this game. So kudos to these guys. We're going to break it all down, but goodness gracious.
29 points in the first half, only 10 in the second. They were up by 2 points. 1 field goal, 1 point won this game. I told people earlier in the week, if they score first, meaning Atlanta, the Cowboys will come back and win it by 1. But if the Cowboys score first, I thought we would win it by big ways. The defense played spectacular. The offensive line regrouped. Hats off to the coach, especially the offense and defensive line coaches.
I think the adjustments that were made throughout the early parts of the ball game, because it was so detrimental. That first half was something that was downright embarrassing, really, for the Dallas Cowboys, the way that they were dominated on both the offensive and defensive side of the football. It was the turnovers. It was the efficiency from that Atlanta offense that really made things difficult on Dallas. But you really have to credit Mike Nolan defensively and Kellen Moore on the offensive side. The adjustments they made were crucial, and they were at the right time to get the job done, Barry.
Yeah, they were at the right time to get the right job done. And if we look back at that touchdown that was dropped, the touchdown that wasn't by Julio Jones, that ended up being one of the key points in this game. That was a huge turning point. He didn't really have a great game going up to that. He was kind of giving, Tavon Diggs the business out there, but he just wasn't capitalizing on those opportunities. And that drop ended up being huge, a huge turning point in this game.
Yeah, there were a lot of turning points in this game. That was obviously one of them, right? He did not, that wasn't not vintage Julio. Yeah. That's not the Julio that we're used to. And I think everybody kind of saw him holding his hamstring a little bit. He seemed like he was being bothered. But nevertheless, these guys had to go out there and overcome a Ridley. They had to overcome a Hurst, right? They had a lot of guys that they had to take care of on that side of the ball. And Diggs, he tried his best to hang in there, right? The rookie got introduced to the NFL today. And just luckily the ball went his way a few times. But on the other side of the ball, also, the offense just kept hanging in there. Right? The offense hung in there. They kept chipping away. Like we talked about earlier, they trusted in Zeke, right? They kept feeding Zeke. They established the run. Schultz showed up. CeeDee Lamb showed up. These guys started coming around to play. I'm surprised.
I tell you what, man. It just hats off to everybody. Great job by you two guys with all the excitement, man. But I tell you what, Trayvon Diggs, Awuzie, that whole secondary, they held together and fought. Like you said, it's a few bad plays for Diggs, but Diggs held together, stuck in there, man. And at the end of the game, when it counted the most, the Cowboys defense came up big to give them back the ball, and then a dumb move by Atlanta not to jump on the ball.
Thank you. You can't make that mistake.
It definitely was a laboring game for both sides of the football. The defense absolutely stood strong when they needed to. And Isaiah, you mentioned it. Trayvon Diggs was introduced, the NFL was introduced to Trayvon Diggs a little bit. Well, the NFL was introduced to CeeDee Lamb as well. 6 receptions, 106 yards, and crucial plays down the stretch. That's it for the first word. We'll have plenty more on this 40-39 Cowboys win. The comeback is complete, and they're back to 1-1.